day, everyone, and welcome to Salient Pointz and Got the Magnet. Today, I have with me the hosts of Got the Magnet, Joe Smith and Susan Smith. They've been traveling all across the nation and exploring, living their life, and this is going to be an opportunity for them to give and share with us a life update. So, Joe and Susan, welcome. How are you doing today?
We're doing good.
Excellent, excellent. And you, Susan, you doing well?
Yes, I am.
All right, awesome. Well, first and foremost, want to ask you because again, we know that's noticed that the last time you did do a life update, and wanted to see since that last month, what has happened? Where have you been? What are things that you've done? What are things that you've seen? What has been your experience been over the past month?
You want to take this one since you just did the list?
We started out in Winslow, Arizona on October 1st. Then we drove down to Gallup, New Mexico, and stayed there overnight. And of course, we had a viewing of the train in our background.
Oh,
and then we went to see the meteor crater out in Arizona.
right.
It was the first meteor that struck the United States.
Wow.
Some 50,000 years ago. And then we went to the Grand Canyon Railway to see the south rim of the Grand Canyon. Yeah, that was actually our second time being at the south rim.
Very good.
And then we did the first football game in Northern Arizona University. And then we stayed at Las Vegas and New York, and the Horseshoe Hotel.
Okay.
And the New York had the Hershey World. And we also visited the Coke World. And we actually tasted some of their sodas around the world.
Wow, so much stuff.
Yeah, while in Las Vegas, we saw the David Copperfield magician show.
Very good.
And then we saw the Mad Apple and the Well Circus Soleil. And then we did the Hall of Fame pinball.
Very good.
The Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And we ate at the Hell's Kitchen for dinner, which we had the lobster risotto, beef Wellington, and the coffee.
Expensive.
Dessert. Oh yeah.
Well, very good. There's a lot that I want to pick on there, and I want to just explore a little bit further. Say that again.
There's much more, but
I can imagine. I mean, very exciting, great stuff. I think, Susan, at the last interview, you had mentioned of looking forward to the Circus Soleil event. How was it for you? How did you enjoy it, Susan? How did you enjoy it, Joe? Where did you see some acrobatics there?
we saw many things. We saw acrobats. We saw magicians. We saw jugglers, and we even saw some water acrobats.
I think I also noted on one of your posts, you actually had a post from the back of a train. I think it was a train that you had mentioned earlier. Now, were you actually sitting in the caboose of the train? How were you able to get such a good video shot of the train tracks and just that sound and everything? How did that come about?
Well, it was an 18-car train.
Okay.
They had, from basically steerage class, which was a bench seating, to the luxury, which we were in one of the luxury components of it, which gave us full access to the train. And one of the things we could do is go out to the very rear of the train and just stand there and just enjoy the views.
Very nice.
They suggest limit your time because maybe 100 people had access to it, and you could only fit 6 people on it comfortably.
Okay.
So we would rotate. We went out for maybe 5 minutes and got that video on it. But I mean, it was gorgeous. I could just sit on a lawn chair and just look at that view all day.
Viewers, make sure you check that out. Another thing I want to highlight was, again, your trip to Vegas. And I noticed that you had a posting of, I presume it's probably from your hotel to New York, New York, of the big sphere. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? How was that you were able to get that particular room to see that, and what was your experience with that?
That was actually at the Horseshoe, which
Ah,
is, if you haven't been to Vegas in a while, it's the old Bally's Casino. It's right across from Bellagio. And one of the things that when I booked the room, it wasn't that much more for a high roller view, which, if you're not familiar with the high roller, it's similar to the London Eye. It's an enclosed giant Ferris wheel. I believe it's around 500 feet at the top point. But that is extremely close to the sphere. So by getting a high roller view, we in turn got a sphere view. So it was nice waking up in the morning and seeing, the sphere guy, I'm not sure if he has a name, enjoying his coffee. The rest of the day, there was some stuff, but it was mostly advertisements.
okay.
I know there was a variety of advertisement, an Oracle advertisement, and a lot for the Sphere's upcoming shows. But it was just neat to see that in person.
Very good. Good, good. Excellent. To dive in a little bit for those viewers that may be into the mystics or Area 51, you mentioned going to the first meteor that hit Earth. Can you tell me about that? Was that area radioactive? Did you have to wear a special suit? What did they share?
Now, it was 50,000 years ago, and it hit, I think, 40,000 miles an hour and just left a giant hole in the ground. And if it was radioactive, it's long since passed. The reason we went to it was because of the government shutdown. Was we had planned to go to the Painted Desert that day, but so we were driving and we just picked said, oh, that looks interesting. And it was a 6-mile drive off of I-40. And there is nothing, and I mean nothing on the road once you get off the interstate. But you come there and it's privately owned, so it wasn't affected by the government shutdown. And it was just a neat experience because I had heard of it, but never really experienced it. And just standing on the crater's edge was amazing. And they said every astronaut who has set foot on the moon trained at that site because the conditions are similar to that you encounter on the moon. Obviously, we have oxygen here and they don't.
True point.
But the terrain is extremely similar.
We talked extensively about going back to the Grand Canyon. I wanted just to give some opportunity to share your thoughts in regards to this visit again to the Grand Canyon. How was that before we dive into some further questions?
You want to take that one?
I recall you mentioned that you said you were definitely looking forward to it. And again, obviously, I think some people say by going to the Grand Canyon, you realize hopefully you don't go too far to the edge, but you realize a whole lot of things about the geological building of this world and life in general. Your thoughts?
It was great. We've been there maybe like 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
And it's just a beautiful view that you can't just imagine.
Very good. All right.
I mean, one of the things we love is trains. And this opportunity to take the train there, it was just really well suited for us. And so we are actually going back to the Grand Canyon next week. Okay. From Vegas, and we're going to see the western edge or western rim of the Grand Canyon, which is the part that's closest to Las Vegas.
I see.
And that has the skywalk where they have that clear walk that you can walk out over the edge, and you're just looking straight down 4,000 feet.
Oh God! Well,
only one of us will be doing that.
Okay, all right. Well, just be very careful, and especially as you're maybe actually you do the walk and let Joe handle the camera, so that way there's no issue of trying to take a perfect picture. Very good. Well, I just want to go back a little bit, and obviously, Oh, you say you have it as a, you can wear it on your body, the pic to go camera?
Yeah, yeah, I have one of the pictures. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, good. That makes it good, and that makes it obviously safe in taking pictures and not getting too risky. Obviously, towards the tail end, we'll get into some questions as to what you're doing for the upcoming month. But I wanted to dig in just a little bit more as to when did this idea first hit you to go on the road? Putting aside, when it became financially workable for you, but when was it in your lifetime that you said, yeah, at some point this is what I would like to do?
I think it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was right after the pandemic. Somebody, a couple that we know from mainline Toastmasters, one of my Toastmasters clubs, they started to do the full-time traveling. And then we started watching things on YouTube. There's several people who do it, and they do their own little spin on what they want to do on it. And it's like, well, this is possible. There's nothing holding us in the area. Like, for the most part, our family has moved out of the area. Our daughter is grown, living outside Atlanta. Financially, we are in a good position. We had bought the house at the right time. We bought it in '98, right before, a couple of bubbles ago.
Right.
And the house was in a very the house is still there, we just don't own it, is in a very desirable neighborhood. So we did quite well on that. So that way, but it's like, well, we can do this. It's like, we've always enjoyed traveling. And most people know us thought we'd be one of these couples who retires to a cruise ship, which we haven't ruled out, but we like seeing new things. The other thing, I've seen too many people who say, we'll travel when we get older, and something happens. Health issues, financial issues. This is the opportunity to do it. We're both in relatively good shape, very few medical issues currently. Now's the time to do it. So it seemed like and the worst that happens, we settle down somewhere and get a job.
There you go. Susan, any additional points that you would like to add?
No.
All right. Okay. Well, let me piggyback on one of the comments from the last time that you mentioned in your last update, and that was, obviously, you're now together 24/7. So, Susan, how has that been for you? Because I remember from the last time it was Joe that got to field that question. So, Susan, I want to give you the floor. How is that for you, and how is the adjustment being seeing Joe 24/7 and just loving his face?
I actually don't mind it.
All right. Well,
But
one
we
other. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Separations at times when we need to work. And
Okay.
I like the quietness, and he likes the noise.
Yeah. The other thing that has helped is we went to visit my sister and dog sit last week.
Okay.
And their own separate bedrooms, which was nice.
Okay.
Because for the last 15 years, when we had the house, we had separate bedrooms, and it was the best thing that ever happened to us. And then next week, because we're Marriott Reward members, we get nightly upgrades from time to time. So later this week, we're going to have a 2-bedroom hotel room. So for 3 nights, we're going to have our own separate bedrooms.
Very good.
So it'll be nice. Just not that I don't love you, but we sleep very differently.
Understood. All right, that's good. So what do you do in terms of? Let me just throw this out there. In terms of driving, I mean, how do you determine who drives for X number of hours? Is it just until one person gets tired, or how do you flip that around?
It depends.
Okay.
Generally, I'll do the bulk of the driving because I am a nervous passenger. I am extremely nervous. Sue does not like driving in like downtown congested areas, although she usually winds up driving in a bunch of those. And construction zones. For some reason, she has got the bulk of the construction zone driving on these trips where you go to merge from one lane. But I'll generally, if it's a short day, like tomorrow, we're going to be driving 2 hours. I'll probably do that drive. If it's more than a couple hours, we'll split it. I'll drive for a couple hours, let her drive until she gets tired of driving. Normally, that's about 2 hours. Or if it's a very congested or difficult drive, she may pull over early. So it's basically we flip-flop, but I do the bulk of the driving because I am the control freak.
Right. Okay. Understood. Understood. Oh, let me ask you this, because obviously it's Got the Magnet, and folks, please make sure you like and subscribe. You have a number of subscribers, and they've been giving various comments or questions and the like. Susan, from your perspective, what have been the posts that you've had that you've gotten the most reactions to? Or is there anything in particular or any questions from the subscribers or comments that you would like to talk to or address?
We really haven't gotten many questions. Just a lot like, oh, I'd love to do this, or I would like to do this at one point.
Okay.
Like the Revolution bike trail that we did in Cape May. A lot of people like that. ATV from the Bristol Speedway that I test drove.
Yeah.
Well, they said that they like that.
Yeah, you mentioned about the ATV. Tell us a little bit more about that. I mean, obviously, again, I know that one person is not going to be doing the ATV because he's clearly mentioned that he doesn't want to. But share a little bit more about that. Do you have to wear special clothes, special goggles? I mean, or do you have to get in a certain mindset? And how does that energize you?
When we did it, we had to be 18 years or older.
Okay.
And had no alcohol whatsoever for safety reasons. And then we had to wear a helmet and goggles and gloves.
Very good. How long was usually the typical ride? 5-10 minutes? Is it like a course?
It was a course, and we went around 3 times.
Okay. All right. Very good. Any surprises thus far as to on your journey? I mean, you mentioned earlier just driving along and obviously noting that this is where a meteor hit Earth about 50,000 years ago. Any surprises, any things as you were going along, just similar to that, where you decided, hey, let's go check this out, or that you did check out and it's kind of like, never doing that again?
Only thing that I would say is because of the government shutdown, we tried to stop at a state park in Arizona, and we had no idea what it was. And it was basically relics of ancient Indian civilizations.
Okay.
And there really wasn't much to it. So I don't want to say it was a disappointment. It was just not really anything of interest on us.
Understood.
But as far as like stopping, places like we went to in Liberal, Kansas, they have a replica of Dorothy's house from The Wizard of Oz.
Okay, interesting.
And that was something I never knew existed beforehand. And then next door they have a warehouse, but it's set up to walk you through the story of The Wizard of Oz.
Mm.
And at the end of it, they have a room full of artifacts from The Wizard of Oz, like all the memorabilia over the years, things paying tribute to it. They had like a replica of the room that it was written in, and found out where Oz came from. It was from a filing cabinet.
Are you kidding me?
No, in the office, they had the file cabinet, like A through F, G through N, O through Z. And while the author was trying to come up with a name of where he looked, Oz works. That's where it came from. And I had never known that before.
How about that? That's good. And did you get the magnet?
Yes. We got the magnet on that one. And then nearby was an air museum. Again, we like airplanes, we like trains. and cars.
Very
So
good.
there was an air museum in Liberal, Kansas that was the home, I want to say Beechcraft aircraft, but it was an old thing. And they had tons of aircraft from small experimental planes up to jet fighters, and including a couple on the outside of larger planes. They had an old FedEx
Very
cargo
good. Okay, very good. Well, talking about things you like, and I want to get Susan's standpoint on this, and obviously, Joe, you defend yourself. Susan, you obviously know that Joe has this thing for mascots. Can you explain that to us a little bit before he now highlights what he does with them?
Well, wherever we go, either if it's a football game or a NASCAR race, he always tries to get pictures to them of the mascots. We have gotten some with dices.
No, high roll. Oh, no, pit boss.
Well, it's still a dice. It's a head of a dice. And we got one with what, raccoons?
Oh yeah, bump and run from Bristol.
Okay.
And then with the one with the man with the axe, which was the Northern University, Arizona University.
Okay. Interesting. So, Joe, what is it with you and these mascots? Do you have a goal in mind, or what's happening here?
I don't know. I've always loved the mascots. Yeah, it's like in some ways I'm still 5 years old and still excited by seeing them. So I've set it a goal to, if we go someplace, to try and get my picture taken with the mascot. And the last couple times, it's worked out really well. Within like 5 minutes, like Sue was saying, Pit Boss at Las Vegas, I said, well, it was Friday, so it wasn't big a crowd. He was over, and I just went up. Can I get my picture with you? No problem. Same thing with when we went to the Northern Arizona football game, the Lumberjack. I said, I'm going to do this. Well, we're walking around outside waiting for the gates to open. He walks right by. I grab a quick picture. And it's happened more often than not recently where you get there early, they're just wandering around, you just jump in. This weekend at at Phoenix Raceway, apparently they don't have a mascot, but Toyota has a number of drivers, and they had caricatures of them in mascot costume. We walk in, and they're all right there. They're about to break up. I got a picture with, I think, 5 out of the 7, because the other 2 had already escaped on that. So I just, there's something that brings me back to my youth with mascots.
Very good. Good. Excellent. Well, just getting close, just trying to wrap up a few last final questions here. And I guess my key question is this. Is there an outside goal? Are you looking to get to all 50 states, all of the continents? Is it 500 towns, 500 cities? What is it in the outreach? Do you have a number or a target out there that you're looking forward to attain?
I mean, we want to hit all 50 states. That, for a lot of people, that is a goal. I would like to hit every Major League Baseball stadium at some point. As far as hitting all 7 continents, currently it's not on our agenda, but we would like to do it. Actually, I've been to all of them except for Australia and Antarctica at this point, because I've been to Asia, Europe, North America, South America briefly. Actually, we haven't been to Africa either. So we'll have to come visit you to accomplish that. But that is something, it's not a goal, but it is in our planning. And the other thing, we don't know how long this is going to go. We could decide we've had enough and just settle down somewhere and never travel again. Or we may do this for the rest of our life. So there's really no set goals in like hitting a certain number of places.
Okay, understood.
To 50 states, aren't we?
We're in the high third. 30s.
High 30s? Okay.
And we're to the point where there's like a couple of trips could knock out the states that we haven't been to.
Okay, good.
We have a couple of outliers. Like I've been to New Hampshire, but I've never been to Vermont. That's like the only state in the Northeast I haven't been to. But we haven't been to a lot of like the Northern Plains states, the Dakotas, Montana, Idaho, Washington. We're going to be in Washington next year, so that's on the list. So a couple of trips, couple of carefully planned trips, we can knock out most of the states. We've been to Alaska, we've been to Hawaii. We're actually going back to Alaska next year.
Very good. Nice. Very nice. Good. Well, I guess the final question or concluding question, or if there are further thoughts that you wanted to expand on, please let me know. Okay. Then what is on deck for this upcoming month? And obviously, we just entered a new month here. What do you plan to do? Where do you plan to go? What is the outlook, and where will you be planting your flag and getting those additional magnets? Like and subscribe, people.
Well, right now we're right outside Phoenix in Glendale, Arizona. Tomorrow we're going to be heading to Prescott, Arizona, which is near Sedona. There was a cowboy dinner that Sue wanted to go to. We're going to do that on Wednesday.
Oh, nice.
Blazing Ranch.
The Brazen Branch, you said?
Blazing M Ranch.
Okay.
They have like axe throwing and writing their electronic bowl. And they have Western shows after dinner.
All right, we're definitely looking forward for some posts with you riding the bull. I guess with the cowgirl hat and twirling the lasso. All right.
And then we're heading to Vegas for a couple days, primarily because we were able to get cheap room rates there. The next week, we're heading on a cruise out of Los Angeles down to the Mexican Riviera. We'll be back right before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And we still have that week to plan because early December, we're going to be in St. Louis for indoor car racing. They're racing late model cars at the America's Dome, which is where the St. Louis Rams played when they were in St. Louis. We watched on TV last year. It's like, yeah, we got to go. So we do have some empty time in November where we're kicking ideas around. A lot of it we're probably going to decide on the cruise because there's two ways to get from Los Angeles to St. Louis via car. One is go up through Denver and through the Rockies there. The other way is retrace the way we came through Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. But early December, weather can hit both of those areas.
Yeah.
So we're going to figure out based on weather because we really don't want to get trapped in a snowstorm. And the weather, it could be very tricky. It could be 80 degrees or it could be 40 degrees and snow.
Pack for all seasons traveling throughout the country. I mean, in some places, obviously the weather's dropped to the lower numbers, and in some places it's pretty warm. Well, you're in Phoenix now, so obviously pretty warm there.
And then, I mean, even like the Grand Canyon, this time of year, it can range from freezing in the morning to 90s in the afternoon. So you have all four seasons sometimes.
Thank you. We highly appreciate you, and thank you much for sharing this with us. We appreciate the life update, and we look forward to more posts and obviously getting some more of the magnets that you've gotten and sharing your experiences with us. Thanks again. Any last words for your subscribers and the folks that have now started to like and join and subscribe to Got the Magnet?
No, just I want to thank the subscribers. Keep remembering to share this, because in order to be able to continue doing this, we need to get monetized on YouTube, and that takes being subscribed, having enough subscribers. And remember, subscribing, there's no commitment, doesn't cost you anything. It's just will show up more often on your feed. So, but thanks everybody for their support.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Stay well.
Thank you.
Thank you.